What's happening, baby? Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Network's very own fantasy football huddle, presented to you by DanklyfeBrand. Let's talk sports and shank it golf brand. I'm your host, as always, Dallas Clark, also known as Indo is my Nindo. Today, we're continuing our coverage and running through that fantasy football draft marathon that we've been doing for the past week or so. Now, we're continuing for the next 10 to 15 days to come out with all of the information you need to go into draft night fully prepared and not look like an idiot. Because this is the year that you hoist that fantasy football championship. Whether you won before, whether this is your first time, this is your year. And you're getting 2 times as good as the person next to you, increasing your chances, doubling your chances to win this year. And I thank you for that. Make sure if you like the content, you drop down and hit that thumbs up. It helps me way more than you even understand. Also, help yourself out and drop a subscription down if you have not, and hit that notifications bell. Once we hit 100 subscribers, not only are we giving out tons of customized Huddle Chat sports gear, as well as tons of customized sports gear presented to you by DanklyfeBrand, but one lucky subscriber between 1 and 100 is going to be receiving a copy of Madden 24 on whatever platform they want as well. So make sure you hit that subscription so we can hit that 100 subscribers here on the new channel. We're oh so close. I think we have just a little more than 10 subscribers. So if you haven't yet, do everyone a favor and hit that subscriptions bar. Now, we're continuing our coverage talking about sleepers that you need to grab late in your drafts. Today, we're talking about the sleeper running backs. Yesterday, we talked about the sleeper wide receivers. If you haven't seen it, I'll drop a link in the description. You don't have to stop this video right now, but you're going to want to check out those sleeper wide receivers because, as we've said 100 times on this channel, upside matters late. And we're going to want to grab those potential league winning players that everybody's going to be fighting tooth and nail to grab on the waiver wire late in our season. We're going to grab them right now and be a step ahead of the game. So today we're talking about sleeper running backs. Let's get right into that. But before we kick off the intro, as always, I got to send you the invite if you partake. Now, if you don't, there's no hate. But now is the time to smoke them if you got them. Fill up your cup, roll something up, and let's get right into the news, baby. So as we talk about our sleeper running backs, it's going to be structured a little bit differently than kind of what we're looking for in our sleeper wide receivers. And I talked about that in that sleeper wide receiver video. But in order to qualify to be a sleeper, we're targeting a running back that's outside of the top 40 running backs. Typically, that top 40 running backs is going to go inside of the top 10 rounds. And right now, the sleepers we're talking about are going to be typically going at about running back 3, running back 4 on your roster. But we're going to be looking for people that have a high role on this offense already. Maybe not a game-breaking role on this offense, but if push comes to shove, you want to be able to plug this person in your lineup, know that they have potential volume, potential opportunity to at least help your lineup out. Now, we really want to focus on players that have high opportunity. Now, what that means is they are one domino from falling away from being a potential league winning player, a top 20 running back. Like I said, one of those players that people are going to be fighting tooth and nail over to get on the waiver wire. But we were a step ahead because we paid attention. We're going to be looking at mainly 3 things when we talk about these players. We're going to look at their previous production, what they did in years prior. Then we're also going to focus on the things that we like about them and the things that we dislike about them. And we're going to go in order as far as their ADP goes. We're going to go from the highest priced player to the cheapest priced running back on this list. So let's go to the most expensive, the highest ADP running back on this sleeper list right now. Tank Bigsby from the Jacksonville Jaguars, currently going about the 11th round at running back 42. Now, last year, his prior production in college, he's a rookie coming in, of course, so we're looking at his college production. He ran for 970 yards and 10 touchdowns. He also caught 30 passes for 180 yards and no touchdowns through the air. The things that I like about Tank Bigsby are the fact that he came in immediately as a rookie, as a freshman in college, and produced extremely efficiently. He won the SEC Freshman of the Year award, and that's extremely impressive, especially in a league as tough as the SEC, to come in and produce at that level. He's also coming off of back-to-back 10 touchdown seasons, which shows you he's going to get a lot of goal line attention. When you look at Travis Etienne last season for the Jacksonville Jaguars, he took 10 carries inside the 5, and he only scored 2 touchdowns off of that 10 carries. That doesn't sound like a lot, but he's the only running back with 10 or more carries inside the 5-yard line that scored less than 4 touchdowns last season. Travis Etienne has proved to be inefficient on the goal line, and Tank Bigsby has the body, has the size, and the experience inside that 5-yard line to get it done. And you're seeing him potentially getting a lot of goal line, a lot of very efficient carries. Also, Doug Peterson, as we've seen in the past, you know he likes to go with those multiple running back schemes. So Tank Bigsby is potentially going to get a lot of volume, whether Travis Etienne is healthy or not. Now, moving on to the things I dislike about Tank Bigsby. Travis Etienne, as we've talked about, is the number 1 running back. So he's going to come in not the starter on this offense. And Travis Etienne shined last year. I don't think Tank Bigsby's going to come in and take his job, as some of the running backs on this list potentially may do. However, we're looking at Tank Bigsby. Reasons I believe that is because Tank Bigsby is not an exceptional athlete. So you're not going to look at him either as a 3-down running back. This is a perfectly built 1-2 punch that the Jacksonville Jaguars have. Tank Bigsby is not a good pass protector. Travis Etienne is decent in pass protection. He's a decent pass catcher. So you're going to look at Travis Etienne getting a lot more of the pass catching role in this offense. However, I think Tank Bigsby comes in immediately and has an impact on this offense, and I definitely want to add him to my late round draft board. The next running back on this list that we're going to be talking about is going to be Jaylen Warren from the Pittsburgh Steelers, right now going as running back 44. His prior production last season in 2022, he finished as running back 47. He had 379 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown. He also caught 28 passes for 214 yards, no touchdowns through the air last season. When you're looking at him, the things that I like about Jaylen Warren is that he's clearly the number 2 back in this offense. It's not really like he has competition behind him if Najee Harris goes down, but he's clearly the number 2 man. And he also has the pass catching role from what we saw last season in the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. So you're going to see him already have a beneficial role in the offense come week 1. Now you look at him compared to Najee Harris, and Najee really has yet to show us that he's as good as we thought he was coming out of college. And you look at the opportunity that Jaylen Warren got last year, it was limited, but he was very efficient with his limited opportunity last season. And I think Jaylen Warren is going to eat into Najee Harris's target share a little bit this year, his snap count a little bit this year. And Jaylen Warren is slowly going to become a bigger piece of this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Now, as far as things I dislike about Jaylen Warren, we're going to be looking at the fact that Mike Tomlin, obviously, as always, loved to go with one running back. If Najee Harris gets hurt, it's going to be the Jaylen Warren show. But if Najee Harris is healthy this season, Jaylen Warren has limited upside. And we're not banking on Najee Harris taking an injury, but I do think that the pass catching role already going into week 1 is going to be enough to warrant Jaylen Warren to be added to your fantasy football draft roster this season. The next player we're talking about on this list is going to be Raheem Mostert from the Miami Dolphins. Right now he's going about running back 48. His prior production in 2022, he finished as running back 25. He had 891 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns. He also caught 31 passes for 202 yards and 2 touchdowns. In 2021, he was injured for the entire season. However, we're now looking at him 2 years off of the injury, and we're moving into the things that I like about him, and that's number 1. We're now 2 years off the injury, fully healthy, we're hoping, going into this season. Now, he's obviously going to be on probably the most explosive offense in the NFL as we're thinking going into the 2023 season. He's going to have high scoring opportunities, and he's highly regarded by Mike McDaniel. He was handpicked by Mike McDaniel to run this offense. He's the projected starter for week 1, which makes him the cheapest projected starting running back that you can draft right now at running back 48. So you're getting a week 1 starter potentially when you take Raheem Mostert in your draft. And when you look at his competition, Devon Achane, who everybody is expecting to take that position at the running back, you're looking at low cost to draft Raheem Mostert and back him up with Devon Achane. And that kind of segues into the things that I dislike, because Devon Achane will eat into Raheem Mostert's opportunities later as the season goes on. But like I said, you're going to have a low opportunity cost to grab Devon Achane and lock up Raheem Mostert. So that way, if Devon Achane is not the starter week 1, Raheem Mostert, you have that number 1 running back in the most explosive offense in the NFL, and you're going to be able to plug him into your flex position immediately until Devon Achane gets his legs under him, learns the offense a little better, and earns that starting position that he may or may not even take as the year goes on. Other things that I dislike about Raheem Mostert is that he's the oldest running back on this list, and he has a significant injury history. So you're looking at potential for Raheem Mostert to be one of those players that starts out and is a valuable piece and at least a usable piece on your team, to being a player that later on you may end up dropping completely off your roster for something better on the waiver wire. But that's okay if you drafted Devon Achane as well to back him up. And if you don't, then hopefully you have other options. Like I said, these running backs are typically going to be your 3 or 4 option at your running back position. Moving on to the last sleeper running back on this list, and probably my favorite sleeper running back on this list. I hope my league mates didn't watch the video this far, because I'm leaving most of my mock drafts with Roschon Johnson from the Chicago Bears. He has extremely great opportunity in his new position in Chicago, coming in as a rookie. Now we're looking at his prior production, as we said before about the other running back. We're talking about Roschon Johnson and his production last season being a college production level. However, unlike Tank Bigsby that we talked about earlier, Roschon Johnson didn't get a ton of production in college. He was behind generational talent Bijan Robinson from Texas, but he really did perform extremely efficiently with the limited opportunity that he had. His prior production last season is going to be from Texas. He had 554 rushing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 14 receptions for 128 yards and 1 touchdown through the air as well. Things that I like about Roschon Johnson is the fact that he was behind Bijan Robinson for the year. He has extremely fresh legs and extremely fast body, and he's going to be ready for the long haul of the NFL season more than most of the players that took a full load last season. So I like the freshness of him, first things first. He also boasted a 49% missed tackle rate in college last season, which with his size, it's surprising how elusive this man is. With that 49% missed tackle rate, he's making defenders miss left and right. And that's not broken tackles. That's missed tackles. That's using his elusivity, his speed, and using that open field to his advantage, which is surprising for somebody of his speed. He also, like I said, he's been very efficient with the low opportunity that he had. And that's exciting when you're looking at somebody potentially being a backup running back, that he's efficient with that low opportunity. He also boasted 4.3 average yards after contact per carry last season, which was 8th best in the country. Roschon Johnson is a dog. If he doesn't run around you, he's going to run right through you. And I'm excited to see Roschon Johnson in the Chicago Bears offense. And he's regarded as a good pass blocker, which means he's going to be used a lot in those passing situations. But moving into the things that I dislike about him, as I said earlier, he's going to be the backup running back. So Khalil Herbert has that starting role over him at the current moment. So that's going to be, of course, the main thing that is going to knock him down to his current ADP. Also, you look at Justin Fields, sort of like the Baltimore Ravens. Justin Fields is he's going to steal a lot of carries. He's going to vulture a lot of touchdowns, and it may be frustrating at times owning Roschon Johnson. And when you're looking at the pass situations, as I said, he's regarded as a good pass blocker. However, he's used more as a blocker because of that, as opposed to being used as a wide receiver in passing situations. So maybe we see him get used more coming out of the backfield in passing situations as opposed to a blocker, but that is yet to be known. But Roschon Johnson, I really do like that a lot. If my league mates watched it this far, or if you watched it this far, please at least do me a favor to drop me a like as I'm giving you all of my favorite players. We're talking about the sleepers. We're talking about players to avoid as well. Players you should be too smart to draft. We have tons of fantasy football draft content coming your way around the pipe. Like I said, we talked about the wide receivers. We've already talked about some draft strategy stuff. So make sure you check those out if you haven't as well. Thank y'all so much for checking out today's video. As always, keep your chin up and your attitude down. I'll see y'all next time. Y'all have a good one, man. Peace out.
Thank you.